My name is Chaplain Matt Hamrick, and I'm in the Chaplain Family Life Training Program at Fort Hood, Texas. To be a solution-focused therapist means that you concentrate on skills, strengths, and resources that the clients possess and find solutions for dealing with the problems. The therapeutic treatment of families or persons has to include the social, the historical, cultural context. At the foundation of solution-focused therapy is a belief that dysfunctional families get stuck in dealing with problems and they rely on patterns that don't work anymore. So the solution-focused therapist helps them find those patterns that worked in the past and can work in the future, help them to apply them to that present problem to get them unstuck, if you will. There's 3 basic rules for solution-focused therapy. Number 1, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So if things are going well, don't work on those things. Keep going with it. Number 2, once you know what works, do more of it. So when you realize, hey, this is working, I'm going to repeat this. Keep doing this because this is working and it's going to make the problem better. And then number 3, if something does not work, do not do it. Do something different. So if I run into a roadblock and this approach isn't working, in my relationship, this is not working, I want to do something different. I want to stop doing that and then find something that does work. Solution-focused therapists have a belief that all families have resources and strengths which can be applied to their problem, and that they already have the resources and strengths that they need to solve the problem. They just don't have access to those resources because of the situation that they find themselves in. Solution-focused therapists also have the belief that families really want to change and that only a small amount of change is really necessary to make this happen. Some techniques for solution-focused therapy is collaboration with the client to determine what the issues are they want to solve. So sometimes clients don't know what they want to solve, and so the therapist helps them determine what it is they want to work on. Another technique is to ask the miracle question. So if you went to bed and a miracle happened and the problem was gone, you woke up, how would you know it? So it gets them looking for ways that their life would be different. Therapists also help the client find exceptions, find those times in their life when the problem was better. What were they doing when the problem was better? And do more of that. And then asking scaling questions. So on a scale from 10 to 0, in light of this problem, where do you find yourself now? And then helping them determine where they are, where they want to be, and how to get there. There are some common myths about solution-focused therapy. One of them would be that the solution-focused therapists propose solutions or give advice. This really isn't true. In solution-focused therapy, the client identifies solutions with the help of the therapist, and the therapist identifies the client's exceptions to the problem. So it's really collaborative. The therapist doesn't give advice, the therapist leads the client to the solution that the client already has. It's just really you're co-journeying with the client to find out the solutions that are already within them. Another myth and a misperception is that solution-focused therapists never talk about the problem. So some people think that the client comes in, we don't even listen to the problem, we just jump right to the solution, but that's not necessarily the case either. Solution-focused therapists spend less time talking about the problem than most other therapists. They follow the client's lead in determining how much and how often to discuss the problem. So if the client wants to spend a little more time on the problem, that's fine, but we steer them in the direction of the solution, so do not allow them to get stuck in only talking about the problem. A third myth or misperception is that solution-focused therapists never talk about the past. This isn't true. We don't focus on the past as much as a Bowen therapist may, but when we talk about the past, they focus on strengths as well as the problem. So we don't just dive deep into the past and the problem and focus on that. We touch on it, figure out what's going on, and then drive forward toward the solution. And then a fourth and final misperception is that emotions are not discussed. That's not true either. The expression of emotion is used as clues to what works instead of being curative in and of itself. So we let the emotions point us in the direction of the problem instead of focusing on the emotions being the solution in and of themselves. Personally, for me, this has been the main approach that I've been exposed to as my time as an Army chaplain over the past 11 years. When we first go to the Chaplain Officer Basic course, this method is given to us because, frankly, it works. It's practical, and it easily works in the fast-paced world of soldiers, where long-term multiple session therapy is not really a viable option many times. It's just as easily conducted in a bunker in Baghdad, which I've used, as it is in a counseling office at Fort Hood, Texas. So it's used across multiple sites, time constraints. It just works. That's what draws me to it, and it doesn't require a huge amount of training to do. It really helps you focus and listen better, do more active listening to your client, because they have the solution within them, and it's just our task to draw it out of them. It also trains the client to look for the positive or what's working. I think clients have resources they need, but they just need a little help finding them. And so I'm drawn to this because I'm drawn to the positive. I believe that there is a hope in every situation, and sometimes the fog of war, so to speak, interrupts that, and the client can't see what that hope is. And so solution-focused therapy helps me to help them find that solution. So Jim and Pam come to therapy for communication issues in their marriage, and they say that over the years communication has diminished. They've added 3 children to the mix, and there's just been a decrease in their communication. I would probe the exceptions. I would ask them, when were some times when the communication was better? When did it work? When did the problem not exist? They may say that they had better communication when they took time to spend together, just the two of them, when they had regular dates that they went on without the kids around, just some time away. I would point them to those times and ask them how they could recreate those times, even in a busy schedule with kids and work and activities. Direct them to times when they could take time to spend together. Over the course of several sessions with Jim and Pam, I would help them plan these dates. This time away doesn't have to be away from the house. It could be just alone on the couch, just times when they can focus on each other. And once they see that this problem doesn't exist all the time, it only exists when they get super busy, and that if they are proactive and planning out this time together, then their communication will become better. And once they have this hope, then it creates a momentum where it just gets better and better. And so really, the solution was there all along. It's just the hustle and bustle of life get in the way, and kids and work, and communication takes a back seat. But when we kind of push pause and really assess what's going on with Jim and Pam, they can realize that they have it within them to plan this time away and improve their communication. And so it could take 1 to 4 sessions, maybe more, but it doesn't have to. Solution-focused therapy could be really short-term and brief, and to help this couple increase their communication and increase their quality of life. If I were to describe solution-focused therapy in one sentence, I would probably say that solution-focused therapy is a brief approach that focuses on moving clients toward enacting solutions based on the client's experience and values.